Scope of piping engineering. This is the main topic of this video. Let us see what we are going to cover in this section. There are types of piping engineers. First we'll try to understand what are various types, whether it is layout, material, stress engineer, construction engineer, and what is their role, what is expected from them, how mechanical engineers are suitable for this role, and how you can become expert in piping engineering. So this is the main agenda of this video. Here we are going to first we are going to look at what is piping design layout engineers. Okay, so let us go to this topic. We know the importance of oil and gas sector in energy sector, right? Piping engineering is critical component of engineering projects, especially process plants. So let us see how these engineers are involved into various activities. Right, as we discussed, these are the 5 types of piping engineers which are commonly found in process industry. So piping engineers are mostly associated with pipe routing, right? Whether they are using 3D models to route these lines or few review softwares just to review how this routing is done. This is the topmost role, or you can say the piping engineer deal with pipe routing specifically. Then they commonly use a lot of software. For example, SP3D is there, PDMS, E3D, right? So these softwares are for 3D modeling. Navisworks or SPR, you can say those softwares are for reviewing the 3D activities. So they use their knowledge to define the most economical pipe routing. So we discussed their main role is pipe routing, but not only pipe routing, but it has to be economical also, right? So not only their technical skills, but their common sense has to be there. Then only they can make the routing economical, the optimized one, right? Along with that, they have to coordinate with a lot of people, other discipline people or other external stakeholders. They have to give a lot of input to other discipline. They have to take a lot of input from other disciplines. So that way they need to coordinate continuously during the project life cycle. So they have to have common sense. They need to prepare the economical pipe routing. They have to coordinate with other disciplines. So this is the basic thing which piping engineers do. Now let us see what is expected from these engineers. Okay, what are the job demands? Knowledge of international codes and standards, right? There are so many codes and standards. They have to have the basic knowledge because they have to interact with many people. They have to implement a lot of technical things during the live projects. Then concept of piping engineers. What is piping engineer? They need to understand first general piping engineering principle. Okay, for example, if there are pumps, exchangers, columns in any of the project, they need to know the basic principles behind their piping, how to do the pump piping, how to do the column piping, how to optimize the overall layout, overall piping, right? So those principles they have to be aware of. Basics of piping materials. They are not piping material expert, but they need to know the basics, right? This is what is expected from them. Basics of support, pipe supports. They are not stress analysis expert, but they need to know what kind of supports are there at various stages, how they are going to use those supports. Again, tendency to interact with various disciplines. They have to be very good in communication, right? A lot of time is spent in communication, especially with interdiscipline stakeholders. So that has to be there. The positive tendency has to be there, right? So this is what is expected from them. These 6 points are the basic requirements which any employer will look into. Now let us see what are their roles, what they do during the course of project life cycle. Piping engineers play various roles in process industry. At the beginning of any of the project, they are involved into various activities. For example, the feasibility check, concept design and development, front end engineering, then detail engineering. So these four sectors are there where piping engineers are involved. So feasibility, concept, these are done at very initial stage of the project. That means piping engineers are involved at very initial stage, right from starting of any project. They will be required there. So let us see what are major responsibilities. Preparing work instruction for designers. If there are 3D modelers or 2D draftmen are there, they have to prepare the work instruction for that, which will be basis for all the designers. Developing design specifications and drawings. Okay, design specification, again from various code and standard, they have to specify what is project requirement and how we are going to follow. So those kind of specifications will be prepared again at the initial stage of the project. So there they are responsible to develop these kind of specifications. Participating in engineering meetings. So a lot of meetings will be there during feasibility, during concept design, front end engineering, detail engineering. So a lot of meetings will be there where they have to be part of such meetings. Discussions and analysis, problem statement that arises during design. So when a person is interacting with a lot of other stakeholders, they have to have some problem solving nature, right? They should not always come with the problem. They have to be coming up with solutions also. So their common sense and technical knowledge has to be very strong. Then preparing piping MTO and material requisitions. MTO is again, we can say this is a kind of job which is expected from piping material engineers, right? But a lot of efforts are required from piping layout team also. So they do not actually prepare the MRs, but they are involved into preparation. A lot of information will be required from them also. Providing technical support to the team, right? This is a common thing which we were discussing about coordination. A lot of technical discussions will be there where their support will be required at various stages of the project, not only in the starting but at all the stages, you can say. Then planning, scheduling work activities of the piping team, right? If you see, a lot of things, a plot plan will be developed at initial stage or maybe at various stages of the project. So a lot of things will be associated with that particular deliverable. So they have to be very good in planning and scheduling the work activities, especially for piping team. Though they need to understand what is the sequence, how these activities are associated with each other. If there is a delay in one activity, one in deliverable, then there will be impact on others also. They need to understand that. That is why they need to do the planning and scheduling of work activities. Reviewing vendor drawings, interdisciplinary item checks. Again, a lot of along with a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions with other disciplines, there will be a lot of deliverables or drawings from various disciplines which will be associated with piping deliverables. So they need to review those things, right? Similarly, a lot of deliverables will be passed on to other disciplines so that they can also check, they can provide their inputs to those. So this kind of to and fro movement will be there within the deliverable. So they have to be good in reviewing and coordinations. Then suitability of mechanical engineer for piping layout engineer role. If you see, those mechanical engineers who are good at engineering drawings, okay, who always wanted to become a design layout engineer, then piping engineer is a good place for them. So engineering drawing is something which a mechanical engineer, if he's having interest in that, then this will be a good job for them. Now, how to become an expert in layout engineering? Mechanical engineer or any working professional can go for available courses on layout engineers. There are so many institutes, there are so many ways, maybe YouTube is there, a lot of articles are there, so many possible ways are there to learn from industry expert, right? At the same time, there are few courses which have been developed by EPCLAND, and these are available on this platform. If you go to this link and you can look at the course 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is divided into various sections. For example, the layout engineering, basics of piping engineering complete course, which will be covering a lot of things. then deliverables, non-deliverables, basics of piping engineering. So these are the courses. If you go through these are organized systematically so that you can go through each and every fundamental which is required for a layout engineer. Okay, there are so many benefits, the flexibility of time and location. Once you enroll to any of these courses, you will be getting the access to all the recorded lectures, which you can access from anywhere, anytime, and as many times as you want. You don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to travel. Even while traveling to any other purpose, you can access these lectures. So once enrolled, you will get the lifetime access, right? 100 plus lectures are there, 30 plus hours of content which is there in the recorded form. Certificate of completion will be there. Same lecture can be watched as many times as you required. Job oriented content based on practical scenarios. So you can look at other courses also, which is available on epcland.com. So this was the first topic which we are going to cover in this section, that is layout engineers. In next section we'll look at piping material engineers.